BMVT and Audio Nerd Diary. This is another episode on the F-Stomp Project where I'm progressing some raw material played with guitar and some loops into a ready-made song. This episode was going to be about the mixdown of the guitars and adding some reverb to the track, because that is obviously one very important part. And I actually recorded this video yesterday just to find out today that I did not record the sound. So in contrast to the videos I did before, to the tutorials, what we're going today is just a walkthrough through the stuff I did yesterday with the song. And one thing that you might have recognized is that I have changed the intro when you listen to it. Yes, and there's a filter coming in. Okay, I found that to be quite interesting, but let's go through it and through all the parts and then take a look at it. All versions of this track with the progressing development you can find on, you can find on our Soundcloud page, soundcloud.com BMVT. There's a playlist with the F-Stomp Project, and there you can listen to all the different versions and see if I actually made it better or worse. I have been doing audio production for 3 years now. I'm definitely not a pro, but I learned some things, and I've found that I am right now in a state where it is okay to tell other people what I'm doing. Okay, now you know that project. We can take a short listen to the main part of it. We identified the main part in our structuring work yesterday here. That's something I called first two. This is how it sounds. We did, in the last video, we did some mixdown on the clap and the other drums and arranged them in the stereo field. And today I'm going to show you what I did with respect to the guitars. And if you are a close watcher of this video series, you might recognize that I put the intro, the guitar intro, on another lane because I found that the sound of the recording was quite different than from the rhythm guitar. And also I have a tone that's decreasing slowly here, and I want that to be played out fully. Okay, so that's our intro. Let's take a listen to it without all the effects I put in there. Yes, you should know that by now. Okay, first thing I was doing is I found it to be a bit dull, so I added a niveau filter, Elijah niveau filter. That is something you can get for free on the internet at the Plugin Alliance homepage. It's very good. Basically, it's something that you can pick one point in your frequency range and tell them to shift energy from below or above that point to the other side. So what I did is I chose here 850 hertz and told them, okay, everything above it gets 0.4 dB more and everything below it gets a bit less. So now compare that to the sound before. Okay, personally I think there's a bit of more clarity in the upper end here. And then I added an equalizer, and I did an high pass. That's not completely necessary, but I find it good to use that on the different lanes, so I can adjust the high pass until the character of the special sound is touched or not touched. Okay, and I did a little high shelf here. That's a 7. Actually, what we're not using is a 3, and I think the 2 we're not using. So this is how the equalizer really looks like. And again, without the equalizer. Okay, and then the last thing we added is a compressor that was already on that lane, but I adjusted this a bit too. Sounding a bit more dominant because it has an auto makeup on it. It has an actually I'm going to change the release because it sounds a bit more upfront when the release is faster. Okay, and then the last thing I thought that would be quite nice on this one is to have an filter, and I wrote an automation on that filter. You can do automations when you click on any parameter in your device, or if you select your device in the drop-down list here, and then you can select any of the parameters there, and when you click somewhere on this dotted or full line that appears, then you can write an automation. With a double click, you remove the single points. You can delete any automations, or if you use this parameter manually, then it will switch off the automation, and then you can reactivate it. Okay, let's listen to this one. All right, so this is how it sounds. I added some resonance to the filter in order to have it a bit more dominant, and I added some drive. Ableton since 9.5 has different filter types in its standard auto filter. You can have a clean filter, and you can have older analog type filters with some added warmth. So basically that's a filter and a saturator in one box. Can you actually see that, what I was showing? No, you need the full screen. Okay, that's the drive, that's the filter type here, and that's the resonance. All right, so that was this lane. Let's go to the rhythm guitar and listen to it. Okay, this is how it sounded as a raw recording, and I added an equalizer, obviously, and the first thing I did was, let's see. Okay, the first thing I did was I added again the high pass, and then what bugged me about that sound is that there was some boxy. It sounded like being recorded in a small wooden box, and these frequencies are below here, 200, 300 hertz. So I did some little dips on these frequencies. Okay, you can find such frequencies easily by adjusting a band and then giving it a lot of gain. So then you hear, okay, that's the sound I want or I don't want to have. Okay, that's it. And again, I did the small high shelf, and I did the little low pass filter on the upper high end, and compressor again. Okay, and then there is one thing that you might have recognized on the right side of the screen. That's actually, is that activated? No, it is not. Ah, very good. Okay, I used this rhythm part to set up my first reverb of the track. You can show your return lanes with Control-Alt-R, and this is a very good concept in Ableton to have the return lanes available at a mouse click. So you can use the same reverb at many different lanes, and that is quite beneficiary because reverb is very processor consuming. All right, just give me a second. I have to open the door. Back again. Now, in the original version of this video, I was fiddling around with reverb types and stuff. And I didn't find a preset for a reverb that I found quite nice. So this is what I did in the meantime. Finding the right reverb took me, I don't know, 1.5 hours. This might go faster with more experience, but if you're starting with production, you will use a lot of time to find a reverb that sounds nice with your instrument. Okay, so what I did, this is my first return lane. I used an equalizer. Well, obviously you always do a high pass on the reverb and also a little low pass, because you don't want to have a muddied sound. Like if you have the low frequencies on the reverb, it will definitely use some energy and take out definition on the low end, and you don't want that. And on the high end side, it might bite in your ear. And also I removed some presence at 3 kilohertz. So that's my equalizer. And then I use the Convolution Reverb Pro. It comes with Max for Life, and it's part of the Ableton suite. I find it to be quite nice because you can, actually that's the best thing, you have a lot of good presets, and you can set the position of the instrument that is currently playing. So the good thing is you can use the same reverb for different instruments with different positions, and that gives you a lot of freedom to adjust them in the stereo field. Okay, what I used is a wood plate. Again, I have gone through the presets for a lot of time, and then I adjusted the size of the room and the pre-delay and the position. So, and this is a process. This is an iterative process. You start with the size until it seems to be okay, and then you go for the pre-delay and the position. And you definitely do not need to worry if you can't hear all the differences at the first attempt to do that. I can't at some stages. So sometimes I'm going for some numbers and use them if my hearing lacks the ability I would need there. On a return track, you set the reverb to 100% wet. Okay, let's activate that one. If you set up the reverb, you will put the send parameter to a very high level. So that's a 0 dB send parameter. Well, that's a bit too much, obviously, but it's good to set up the character of the reverb. And then let's turn it down a bit. Okay, so that's basically it. So that's my first track with reverb. We can set that for the intro as well. Listen to this one. Still sounds. I find this reverb to be very nice for this track, because it sounds very natural. It's not too long. It's not too spacey. All right, so that's my reverb. Okay, and then I had the solo guitar. So that's my rhythm guitar. Yes, that's that section. And then let's go take a quick walk through the solo guitar. Basically, the process was the same process all the time. I added some high shelf and at the same time some low pass on the very high frequencies, because I want this record to sound a bit like an older record with some warmth and vinyl feeling to it. And with some of the guitars, with the microphones that were used to pick them up, I removed some of the lower mid frequencies, around 200, 300, 400, 500 hertz, depending on the actual sound I'm having. And this is what I've done with all the guitar lanes. And then I split them up according to their character. So this lane behaves different than these two lanes here. And actually I set up all the effects. Again, equalizer, compressor. And then for the solo guitar, I set up a glue compressor on the group lane to have them glued a bit together. That's why it's called glue compressor. All right, we can take a little listen to the things here, and I will add some reverb to all of them. We can set up the amount of reverb as well. Now let's just okay, that's my first solo guitar. Okay, and that's basically it for the guitar mix down and for the first reverb. Now listening to this one, for the guitars, there's still a to-do. I need to adjust a bit of the tempo flaws in this guitar 2 and 3 lane. Because if they're solo in a chorus, they shouldn't be stumbling around, and so I will do some work on the loops there. But you have seen that work on the bass loop as well. And then while I listen to this high solo guitar here, I found that one actually could use a longer reverb as well. So I'm going to put in a longer reverb, and then we're going to put in a common delay for the track, and then adjust the levels of reverb and delay for all the tracks. Basically, you're not going to do reverb on the bass and on the kick for an electronic track, or just a very tiny bit of it. But you will do it for the high drums. They definitely need a room to sound natural and to sound like they belong in that track. And that is the stuff I am going to do, but not within this video series, because it's just work that you already understand. So the next video about this track is, let me check my notes. Oh yes, the next video is going to be adding some effects, noise, and maybe some orchestra parts. I recorded some accordion stuff that might be used in this track, and I'm still thinking about that. Some brass maybe might help for some accents, but I'm not too sure. Let's see. All right, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. You can listen to this track on our Soundcloud page. There are all the different versions and progressing versions of this track available. And we will see us next time, anytime you want, because it's basically YouTube and you just have to click on the video. I will make an outro today. I will make an outro. Just a second. Very nice. This is an outro. See you next time. Thanks for watching.